evening and welcome to the show. This is The Couch. My name is Pratt and I'm excited to come your way this evening with yet another conversation on, be it a social issue or a lifestyle issue. Tonight, our conversation is on the creative industry and copyright. The creative industry and copyright. I mean, if you live in this digitized world, today's digital space where all of us are creatives, then you should be worried about copyrights. Well, maybe not worried, but you should know about copyright. How do you, sort of have the best rewards for your creativity? How do you not infringe, on the rewards of a creative? It's a broad, spectrum of conversations, particularly today where, there's the master of all, what we all call it, artificial intelligence, IA, and all the implications. All of us are using it. How do we understand, what our rights and obligations are? How do we navigate, this sometimes complex space in such a way that we enjoy our rights fully while also not infringing, on another person's rights? That's our conversation. It's a conversation for you and it's a conversation for me. Stay with us. We'll take a quick commercial break. When we come back, I'll introduce the experts. Stay with us.
Are you searching for the perfect venue to host your next event? Look no further than Mirror's Event Plus. Discover the epitome of sophistication with our Skybox Event Center. This indoor marvel offers spacious hall area accommodating up to 500 esteemed guests. This beautifully designed space can be tailored to suit various event types, from weddings and corporate gatherings to cultural celebrations and more. We give you a kitchen space where your culinary creativity takes center stage, from gourmet feast to delectable treats. Our kitchen is the heart of flavor and delight. Our luxurious washrooms ensure comfort and convenience for all attendees, as well as maintaining the elegance of a special day. Our breathtaking waiting area is designed to make a lasting impression, while our top-of-the-range changing rooms are befitting of the VIPs of your event. Experience nature's charm at Tichiwa's grounds. Host an unforgettable outdoor event at the spacious and beautiful Tichiwa grounds, featuring a large lawn or terrace area capable of accommodating up to 700 cherished guests. Our changing rooms also provide privacy and ease for your special guests. Call us now on 030-341-6266 or 053-029-6067. Mirror's Event Plus, where celebrations come to life.
Welcome back from that commercial break. Let me remind you that our conversation for tonight is the creative industry and copyright. My guest for this evening is Mr. Joseph Jamfi. He is Executive Director, Copy Ghana. Welcome, sir. Lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you too.
Great. Okay. So, I mean, when we talk about copyright, generally, what are we talking about?
So, copyright is the book, definition would be an exclusive, right, which is sometimes assignable, and it's for a fixed term, and it's for originators to reproduce their works or authorize the reproduction of their works. So, in the nutshell, that is copyright. One scholar also said that copyright is like a fence that you put around your property, and that is not meant to prevent people from entering, but to control who enters and how they enter.
Oh, I like that.
That is also, the other definition, not so book definition.
I didn't like the first one.
That is like, it's like a textbook definition is always difficult to.
Right. But I like this.
This
like
makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
A fence you put around your property.
Yes, not to prevent people from entering.
Right.
But to control who enters and how they enter.
Yeah. I really like this. This makes a lot of sense, right? And with this, I can completely relate.
Exactly.
Okay, so now let's determine property. Let's determine property in the creative space. So, let's talk about the most recent ones that have made news. So the one with the clothes, where somebody said she had made, these are designs that she had made for her company.
Yeah.
And, another group of people had made the same design.
Exactly.
You remember that incident?
Yeah.
They had made the same design of clothing that she had made for her shop, and she came on social media and she called them out that, hey, this is my intellectual property, and people are
infringing on
exactly. Let's talk about that. So, I mean, there are some designs that are universal, like what I'm wearing. It's just a shirt and trousers. This is somebody's creative work. This is somebody's designs. Somebody made this. If tomorrow I see you wearing, linen shirt and trousers like the one I'm wearing, maybe also blue. Actually, this is also on the market. Everybody can go and buy this fabric. But I mean, why do you draw the line? Why does it become your property, and when is it not my property?
You see, copyright need not to be, a creative work. Need not to pass any test before it is regarded as a copyrightable work, or something that is worthy of being copyrighted. So you don't need to, there is no yardstick that the design should meet A, B, C, D. Once you come up with something that you consider artistic and of value to you, that you want to protect it, you can go ahead and protect. You get copyrights is even, it's once you do the thing, copyright is taken. I mean,
so it doesn't.
You don't
have
need
to be
there is
unique.
no formality. There is no technicality that you have to meet.
How about uniqueness?
But exactly, that is what I would rather use instead of being of a particular quality or standard.
Okay.
It should be unique.
Okay.
So we should be able to identify the work to you. That is the first thing, the first rule to
So uniqueness
pass.
should be a rule.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's the first rule to pass.
Okay.
So we also call something de minimis principle. The de minimis principle means that if I am taking inspiration from a particular, design that is already existing, I should be able to prove that there is something unique, something different that I have added, because we all understand that no design is created out of the vacuum. We all build on what is already existing. So definitely we take inspiration from things that are around. The designer that designed this probably also saw something that inspired him to get to this. But at least there should be something that shows that you expended some energy. You put in some creativity that has been added on, that you must have to, gain from it in any way. So I think, that's how I'll put it. In the scenario,
was she right?
Yes, in the scenario you created, that one designer just designed something, another also took it up, and then she's right. When the recent issue that is in the public space in Ghana is the song Diffie Diffie. I know you follow.
Yes, I was about to go there.
Exactly.
In a minute.
Somebody will say, but the word Diffie Diffie is in the Bible. It's not in the Bible, but it's a term that we all use, and most of the words in the gospel song are in the Bible. So why do you now lay claim over something that is available for everybody to use? It's not only the text that is raw in the Bible. It's not only the term defi. It's how he put it in his word. And that small lines, the role it plays in the work is so huge. So when you compare the two soundtracks, you realize that is the hook of both songs. And that is a major, thing that we identify with the works. So if you also do a similar work and then you pick the same lines and it follows the pattern, you just twist it a bit, and we can see through your words that you were trying to copy that. You are infringing on the person's right, and he can take you on. So you can't really draw a fine line, but you have to be very careful.
But there's a line.
There's a line, and you need technical advice when you are embarking on things like that.
But
when you want to draw inspiration, it's not wrong to draw inspiration from other existing works,
right?
But make sure that
you follow the
exactly
line.
You seek advice when you are not so sure about it.
Okay, but by its the core of the name itself, the name says copyright, right? So I would have thought that there should be an appreciation of copying. You say drawing inspiration, right?
Yeah, that's
by the name itself, I should be able to sort of pick inspiration from you, and it should be okay, or it can't be okay. I don't know if you understand. I want to know where the line is. Where is the line?
You see, in IP laws, there are what we call exceptions.
Right.
Sometimes we allow, depending on the amount, the quantum of the work that you are copying, to add to what you are trying to put out there. There is a limit. So we call some exceptions, copyright exceptions. That is, if you are a broadcasting organization, and then you are picking a copyrighted material for a news item, you can pick a small portion of that and use for your news item. That is allowed. And then for certain educational use, if you are doing a research and you need some information, you can pick some minute portion of work that is copyrighted, and then you cite who you reference the owner of the work. So it's even when you are coming under exception, you have to be very what do you call it? I don't know how to put this word. You don't have to be dishonest about letting everybody know that I drew inspiration from
Give credit.
Give credit where credit is due. So at the end of the day, the owner won't see the work, and it's as if you are trying to disregard all his efforts. So it's quite,
it's tricky. So let's take Beyonce, for instance. Beyonce used Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie's words. We should all be feminists. She gave a full speech around it. And I've seen a Beyonce concert where before she comes out to perform We Run the World, the feminist song, she plays Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie's words, her actual voice, plays the full speech with the words on the screen before she comes out to perform. How would you classify this?
No, he's acknowledging, she's acknowledging.
She's acknowledging.
Somebody might just pick the words without even, showing us where the original words came from. But
they don't mention her name. It's just her voice. What I saw, it was just Chimamanda's voice playing on a screen with the words. But they didn't mention her name. They didn't.
One thing is also that you and I might not know the behind the scenes discussions.
Right.
Maybe she has, somebody of that stature would not take copyright.
Maybe you would just be so flattered that Beyonce is
using your voice.
I mean,
so they might have some chit chat behind. Oh, go ahead and use it, and it's even a popular, what do you call it, a publicity, for her as well. So, but I am very sure there might have been some. Beyonce is surrounded by a lot of legal, experts, and they would not allow things to just run anyhow like that. So there might be some, sorting out done behind the scenes before
that happens.
It comes out.
Okay, now I'm going to mention it. How about Kiddy, Kwame Eugene? They tend to sample small bits and pieces of other people's songs in their songs. How would we? Because a full song is their song. It's a completely new song, but you realize that maybe as they sing then they'll put a
and
phrase.
they are getting some backlash sometimes.
They are getting backlashes.
Yeah, I mean, it's normal.
But is that allowed? Is it okay?
It is. I initially stated that nothing is created, in a vacuum. We build on knowledge. We learn from the known to the unknown. So we take inspiration from things that are already existing. But make sure that when you are taking inspiration, you give recognition to who it is due, and then you make sure you don't take beyond the quantum or the quantity that will land you into trouble. So, I mean, this is all, you have to be smart about all these things if you want to play safe in this.
Let me put you in the corner now. How about our president's speech that was said to be plagiarized? How about that?
You see, that was an unfortunate incident.
But where does that fall in this conversation?
It's also a matter of plagiarism, as you are saying, and that is a different level of copyright infraction. It's even a very dishonest, act to that extent. But I may not blame the president so much, because if you employ speech writers and other people to be paid for that role and they end up letting you down like that, I mean, it shows that the people are not really doing their work as expected. So it was a shame, somehow to Ghana, but it's past. I know we've learned from it. So yeah. And
we can do better. Okay. So let's come to your company, Copy Ghana. I wanted us to have a broad general conversation and we get in. What does your company do? Copy Ghana. What do you do? You are executive director. What does
Copy Ghana is a collective management organization. In Ghana, we have 3 collective management organizations. We have Audiovisual Rights Society of Ghana, which deals with movies and all audiovisual, copyright protected works. And then we have the Ghana Music Rights Organization, GAMRO, which is also per their name dealing with music and how music are used. And then we have Copy Ghana, which is for text and image-based, copyright holders. So Copy Ghana basically deals with visual arts and then the text. So all right holders in this space, it's our mandate to ensure that we seek the interest of them. If you look at IP broadly, IP is made up of patent rights, trademarks, trade secrets, geographic indications, copyright, and a lot of them. But copyright is so unique, and it takes us back to our initial conversations. When you look at the way copyright protected works are created and are used, it's only a thin line in between using it fairly and then using it wrongly. So it's difficult for instance, you can buy a book to use personally, and then being a student, you have a group that you learn with, and then you are doing some group discussions, and you are tempted to even share copies of all these things with. That is not a fair use. You are actually violating the copyright, because you bought one book, you didn't buy the copyright. So people don't really. So
the photocopies that we do in school, it's wrong.
It's wrong, because even when you open the book at the copyright page, it's clearly stated that any form of reproduction that is not authorized by the author is an illegality. So it's like we just take things for granted. So when you look at how copyright products are made and used, it is so very technical that there should be a body, an organization set up to help the author to protect their rights. Unlike the other ones that are straightforward, patent, you just sign an agreement with me before you can manufacture multiple quantities of that concept. This one, copyright, even in the process of trying to use it fairly, you might end up using it wrongly. So, and the author is always not in the position to be able to monitor all this use. So it's difficult for the one who has that primary responsibility to monitor use, to be able to monitor it very well. So that's why collective management organizations are set up, to help, make sure that in instances where a lot of people are consuming that product at a particular time that the author cannot monitor, these collective management organizations can take charge of that and help then make some gains.
And then you have your work set out for you.
Exactly. It's a huge role that.
And then you have your work. So please, I'm sorry, just to backtrack a little bit. So for movies and music, we have Gamro.
Yeah.
For text,
no, for music we have Gamro.
Music we have Gamro.
Yeah.
Movies we have what? ASOC.
Audiovisual Rights Society of Ghana.
ASOC. Okay. And then for text and image-based material, we have Copy Ghana.
Sure.
That's it?
That's it. We have
How about for
three
fashion and things?
No, so text and image involves fashion, bead making, everything that can be perceived as an image,
As an image?
Yes, as a visual material, exactly. Books,
poetry,
and all of that. Yeah.
clothing,
painting, sculpture, all of that. So all of that
okay.
form under our mandate.
Okay. So pottery.
Yeah, all of them. Those artistic ones.
Yes, artistic stuff. Baskets,
basketry and all of that.
Arts, bags, shoes. All those fall under you.
So when you look at the three, we are actually the ones with a broader mandate.
No, very broad.
It's very broad, but it's an area that we have not really developed in Ghana. We are so much focused on music, and then even when government are making policies for the creative industry, all they think about is music, movie, but when you look at the number of people that are employed in our space, it's even much bigger than them. I think this takes me to a survey that was conducted by the Copyright Office of Ghana on the contributions of the copyright sectors to the GDP. So it came out that the copyright sectors together, we are contributing, I think, around 3.5% or so to the GDP, the whole GDP of Ghana. And this is a sector that has been left to grow on its own without much support and policies from government. So you can imagine if we had a lot of support, what we could have done. Another interesting finding is that the publishing and the text space contributed more to that GDP than music and even the movies and all those. But they allowed that, these are people always in the media and all of that, so we are more quiet. But when it comes to actually contributions, because publishing companies, printing houses, they are employing a huge number of people. And they are also dealing in big contracts from the ministries and other places. So when we quantify the contribution, even the text space, we are doing more than the music and
Wow. But here's what, I don't think that your difficulty would only be with government. I think your difficulty would also be with the rest of us.
Sure.
Because anything that seeks to sort of hinder my flourishing, I would have a problem with. And most of us have been students before, photocopying books is the most regular thing every student has done.
I understand.
When you think about that, then we are all guilty. I don't know if that, So I'm guessing that your resistance to your work would not only be governmental, it would also just be the rest of us.
You're right.
And how are you dealing with that?
You are right on that. You see, I like the way you put it, that anybody that is trying to hinder my progress. But have you thought about the progress of the author?
I need the book. I need the information.
So you see, we had the opportunity to look at, our sister RROs, reproduction rights organization like us, in other part, the advanced world, and how people are, what they are doing to make people compliant with, their mandate. We realize that the only difference is the spirit of complying with laws, that willingness to comply. When you travel outside, everybody's law abiding. This is a law. We have to go by it strictly. That is a society where people walk to revenue authority to go and pay tax themselves, not to wait for somebody to come and harass them before they pay. But unfortunately in Ghana, we are not like that. We need to be harassed sometimes. No, but even to the point of going to court.
I want you to practicalize this so that we can have a sense of why is it important? Why should it matter to me that I don't photocopy somebody's intellectual work? Why? Why shouldn't I do that? I'm a student. I want this book. I want 1001 quotations, Please read what's on the title for me. I forgot the title. 1001 quotations
to inspire you before you die.
Inspire you before you die. I want to be inspired before I die. I need this information, but I can't afford this book.
Yeah.
So I want to photocopy. I need to pass my exams.
Yeah.
Why? Why should it be important to me that I don't photocopy somebody's book? Why?
You see, the one who is creating now was once a student. And he completed school and he's now a creator, a copyright holder. So it's a transition. Today you are a student copying somebody's work and you are against payment of royalties, fees to them. Tomorrow you become a right holder. And you know the chain would go on like that. The cycle is like that. But the positive thing is that though it's been a bit challenging, we have also made a lot of strides. We have licensed about 65 tertiary education institutions in Ghana who pay royalties every year to us, and we distribute to our right holders. So it's not a negative, situation all through and through. But what I would also add is this: it's not about hindering your progress. If you look at it in this way, a university that is training technocrats to come out there and create. If you're against promotion of creativity, then why go through that process? Why take school fees to train people to come out and do what? If at the end of the day, to just come and copy. I mean, that doesn't work. So if everybody is copying, who will make a living out of creativity? So it's about, the bottom line is to promote innovation and creativity. And every nation that is serious about development should take these two things very serious. Creativity and innovation. And we can only do that by inspiring people, by remunerating them when that is due. So that is the only thing we are seeking to do.
I interviewed an author. You know, my Wednesday shows up for book reviews. I interviewed an author. She writes children's books, and it's a niche that I think is very important because it's an area that I think we've left to vacant.
Anybody at all?
No, but people are not writing children's books.
Exactly.
So I think it was her fifth or so book, and after we did the show, we're here chatting for a while. She was telling me how it's so hard, in terms of the finances to keep going, that it's virtually like how do you call it? Like a service to God and country. You are writing the books, using your money and the remuneration is not encouraging. So perhaps that's a conversation we all need to be having.
Yeah.
If we want people to be creative, then today, I say this all the time, where is Ghana's own Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie? Who are our authors? Who can we?
Exactly.
It's a big space.
Who can we pride ourselves with out there? That this is a product of Ghana.
A Ghanaian author who is well paid.
We used to have
for
some. They are out there. We didn't replace them.
No, we didn't. Because if you write, you won't flourish. It's not a space that I believe they are good authors. There are people who can write. They are creatives, but it's not. It doesn't look like it's a space you can use to flourish. It's not a career option.
That is very unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's very unfortunate.
So maybe because of that, let's do better. I like this concept of the royalties. Can you explain it further?
Yes.
The concept of the royalties.
So what we do is this. That is not the only source. Let me also say that we per the Copyright Act 690, Act 2005, certain devices that are imported into the country are levied. Devices that are capable of being used to reproduce or store copyright protected works. They are all levied. And at the end of the day, the government gives this money through the Copyright Office to the 3 CMOs to distribute to their members. So that's one stream of our income. And then the other is the licensing of universities and other organizations, corporate bodies that reuse copyright protected works. So the underlining word is reuse. If you buy it, it's one use. But if you use it beyond what you are supposed to do with that single copy, it becomes reuse. So in your libraries, if students are picking library books and making copies, you are reusing a content that you have to pay for. So the few that understand are paying. And at the end of the year, when they pay us the fees, we calculate. We have classes of the works that we are managing, repertoire we are managing. So books that are used at the tertiary level, for instance, since we are taking a chunk of our revenue from the tertiary level, are given a much higher weight. So authors of that kind of works would get much more than maybe a children's book publisher, as you indicated earlier. So these are the technicalities, and we are working with the World Intellectual Property Organization. For instance, they have this IT solution called WIPO Connect. So all our data are sitting on the WIPO Connect. So when our right holders register with us, we transmit all this data on the WIPO Connect. And then when we take data on use from the schools are supposed to also at the end of the day give us something like the reference materials, the list of books that they make students go to make research from. So with all this data, we're able to calculate who deserves what and all of that, and then we transmit funds. And we are not only representing local authors and publishers or creators or artists. We've signed bilateral agreements with a number of international collective management organizations in our space. We have about 6 or so. We have a copyright clearance center in USA. We have copyright licensing agency in UK. We have copyright licensing agency in New Zealand. We have Malaysia. We have Nigeria. We have Zambia. And the others are also coming on board. So these institutions have given us explicit mandate to seek their interest in Ghana whilst they do the same for us in their countries. So all books from these countries that are being copied on the campuses, we have the mandate to make sure the right things are done. Aside that, Ghana is a signatory of the Berne Convention. Berne Convention is like the mother of all copyright laws. That was the first law made internationally to govern copyright. And in the Berne Convention, it is stated, we have something called reciprocal representation, that all signatory, parties to that convention would protect the works of foreigners, as foreigners also protect the works of theirs in their country. So what it means is that even by signing that agreement, with Ghana being a party to the Berne Convention, we are clothed with that power to even make sure that all foreign works that are copied illegally, we seek royalties from all those that are copying. So this is the laws that we work with, and this is how the royalty system we operate also function.
But what it means is that I need to register with you.
Yes.
I need to register with you.
Yes, you need to, technically. But the fact is also that just because, if you don't register, how do we get your, if you want to transmit money, well, we send money through Momo's, your bank account and all of that. If you have not given us any data, all we do is that when we collect, sometimes we put some in reserve fund, waiting for others to join. And that reserve fund has a number of years that if no one comes, it goes back into the pool again. I don't know whether you get me.
Yes.
Yes, so it cannot be sitting there for over 3 years. Then we are waiting for somebody. So what happens is that we need you to register to give us your data to be able to deal with you. But we also deal through member associations. So for instance, we have the Ghana Association of Writers, GAO, being a member association of Copy Ghana. So by our link with GAO, all members of GAO are also indirectly linked with us. We have the Ghana Journalists Association, we have the Ghana Union of Professional Photographers, and then the Ghana Association of Visual Artists. So all these 5 member associations virtually or technically own Copy Ghana. Right. These are the what do you call it? The founders of Copy Ghana. So we seek their interest.
Right.
That's how.
So I mean, one, you could sort of join your sector association.
Exactly.
And if your sector association is, linked to you, then it's automatic.
It's automatic. So all we need is your data through your
organization. Exactly. What if I don't belong to an organization? I want to register
also
directly,
register directly
with you. Right. Now that you even bring up the photography, I realize how even more complex
bigger than we are even looking at it.
The issue is. Because people will just pick a photograph, and sometimes you are driving in town, and in some remote area, you see somebody's photograph being used
on a billboard.
In front of a shop, a barbering salon, a beauty salon.
I recently solved an issue in my office. A publisher, took a picture online and then used it in his book, and it's selling, and the person saw this. So you are actually flouting not only copyright, even image rights, because the person probably might not want to come into the public space because he doesn't. It's not everybody that wants that kind of fame.
No.
And you cannot just take things for granted. People don't, in Ghana we take things too lightly. I've taken it too. I mean, nobody will even.
Oh, that's a nice picture.
Yeah.
Let me use it. Like restaurants, they just pick random pictures of food from anywhere.
Maybe the person if he doesn't like that food.
No, as a consumer, I don't care. Just make sure you can make the food. The photograph that I'm seeing, make sure that when the food comes, it looks exactly like this photograph.
that,
No, but yeah, I realize how even more complex this
the
is.
whole thing is.
So, for instance, if I'm a dressmaker, it means I have to come and register.
The truth of the matter is, in the past, for all these years that we have existed, our mandate is very huge, and we've been able to work, much in the text space. So when you talk about text, the books, publishing, writing, authorship, and all of that, poetry, and all of that, we've focused much in that space, and we've been able to pay a lot of royalties. We are looking at between 2.5 to 3 million USD royalties paid over the period that we started since 2015. And this is the money we have given to authors to, help them.
That's what you're saying, eh? It's really, piquing my interest because I have friends who write. And if any random person, not say that my friends are random, my friends are not random, but if any random person writes a book and comes and registers with you, is the person then automatically due some royalties?
Not at all. As I said, it depends on the level that you are writing for. Okay,
right.
And our level of where we are also taking the fees from. Because if you are writing something like a children's book, and we are collecting fees from the universities or tertiary institutions, training colleges and other things, you don't expect to, you cannot come and then be demanding as much as somebody who is already in. But I told you we have two main sources of income. That is the ones from the government as a blank levy that we levy the devices, and then the fees that we also take from the universities. So with that blank levy, we think that, it's for everybody because, every work can be picked and then photocopied privately that we might not track. So that is why when we are doing distribution, we put everybody in consideration. So when your friend comes, he registers with us. It depends on the number of titles your friend has, and then the level of users and all of that. We take into account all these facts before we do distribution. He might get something, but as to whether that will be enough for him, I don't know. But it depends on the number of titles, the level you are writing for, and all of that. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, but beyond the royalties, what other benefits do I get from registering with you beyond the royalties?
Yes, we also carry out workshops.
Right.
A lot of workshops that are often free, and we get a lot of experts, technical people to speak on subject matters that you end up paying so much to be able to attend such workshops if we were not the ones organizing. So it's about the workshops that you get to attend, and the connections that we bring to you, and then the royalties. We were formed purposefully to collect royalties for you. All other things are side issues.
How about fighting for me? I find the books that has
it's through the fighting that we get
a chapter that has 60% of a chapter of my book.
Yeah, it's through the fighting that we get you the royalty.
It's through the fighting that you get the royalties. Okay,
it's not easy.
So let me give a classic example. When I used to blog, in another lifetime, I came across a blog post that sounded cunningly like something I had written before. It was about meeting somebody for the first time and all the emotions you feel. And as I read, I was like, wait, this is mine. So I go back and read mine, and I promise you,
it's the same thing.
It was, but then I went and checked the dates, and this person had written before
Earlier.
I wrote. Wow. Yes. And I'm like, can this happen? Where two people
can have the same idea. We can't rule that out completely. But the fact is this. Copyright, as I have said earlier, it doesn't follow formality. Once you do it, you are covered. It's not like patents that you have to register, or the other ones, maybe trademark that you have to get a trademark registered and all of that. Copyright, you are not bound by law to register. But then now we are trying to, because of issues like this, we are trying to avoid a situation whereby two people might have come up with the same thing and both were not aware of what any of them were doing. So we are also opening up the opportunity for people to register, so that in case a matter comes up to court and we are at a loss in determining who even came out with it first and who copied who, we can just have that record to back whatever claim we are having. So that, I think that is a caution, maybe an advice I will send out there, that though there is no formality, once you produce, you are covered. Go through the pains to register it. You can when you register with us, maybe our records on date and other things can also be backing your evidence when you have to go to court, because we would have the date of creation and all of that in our system. So anytime you want to go to court and you need evidence, we can also, be maybe witness or something for you.
So the organization kind of gives you like a backbone. Gives you a backbone.
We try to manage your
shock absorbers.
Your rights. That's how it is. Management of rights. That's why it's a collective management organization. So it's not necessarily looking only at the monies that come to you, but how we can always make that money big. That's what we look at.
Right. I'm looking at your material here, and this one has my interest. It says equipping with strategies, providing practical strategies for promoting and enforcing copyright in the digital era. Please give us some of those strategies, I beg you. Like educators, this one I know, but I mean, what are some of the strategies that can be used to promote and enforce, copyrights?
Yeah. So
for individuals.
Yeah. So what we are trying to do is now to move to the visual art space. We've done much work with the tech space, so we want to move into the visual art space, where we have the fashion designers, we have the bead makers, we have the porters, we have the sculptors, we have the all of them, fashion designers and all of them. Now AI is what is used to consume things. The debate globally, the copyright industry globally is demanding that some form of royalty is paid to creatives for these AI softwares that learn around these works. The argument from the big techs is also that they don't actually copy, they just learn around the works and they come out with something. But my thinking has always been that if you learn around something, it means that without that thing, you might not be able to produce what you end up producing. So if you are using my work as a basis to come up with another work that will end up competing with my work, then I deserve some compensation. So I think this debate is ongoing. Very soon we might get some royalties from this, AI companies. And this is how the visual artists in Ghana stand to benefit from it. If you register with Copy Ghana, we have a catalog. We have a catalog integrated into our website. So if you have like a sculpture, what we'll ask you to do is, we are not interfering with your direct sales of that sculpture or painting. You can go ahead and sell them. But before you sell, take a shot of it, take a picture of it, send it to us. Let's put in our archives as something that you created. So that even if you sell this to an outsider, a foreigner, in our system, we have it there as you as the creator of that piece of artwork. What we'll do is that we'll be able to, with that, check reuse of such works. Let me cite an example. If a painter paints a picture, a nice picture, and then a hotel, buys that painting, or a real estate company buys that painting, and they hang that painting in their room, and they are advertising the rooms, and on your website you see a picture of the room and the painting hanging on the wall. The idea is that that painting is contributing to the promotion of that hotel room. So you have used it beyond what you I mean, at the first instance of sale, the bargain was that you were using it personally.
To decorate
but now
the room.
it is now being used to support your operation, which is another use that deserves another payment. So the same AI that is used to infringe on people's work is also able to track the reuse of this work. So it's like the vaccine is in the venom situation. So what we are trying to do is to use AI to track reuse and then collect royalties. So if we see that you are reusing an artwork from Ghana, what we will send a notice, warning notice that we've seen this on your website. You see that you take it down or you pay for a license. Maybe every year you renew that license so that we can get royalties to these artists. So this can cover everybody. Yes. You know, if I tell you the number of things we can use the artworks we see here to do, you might marvel. For instance, this sculpture that we do, or this wood carving. You know, people are doing video games now, and they can use this sculpture in the video games. The statues, you know, these artworks and all of that, this wood carving, you know, strange artworks and all of that, it can be used in gaming, you know, industry. It's well sought after, but we have not been able to position ourselves for it to tap into this market. Even just common artworks, the clothing industry, you know, if they see some painting that is nice, they can even put it in a shirt and sell. They can do a lot of things with it. Background, you know. Now, even on our mobile phones, you know, we put a lot of wallpapers on our phones. It will get to a time that we'll be even able to, you know, when it gets there, people are like, you are hindering me of enjoying life. But you're also hindering the owner of that right of making money. But it could get to a time that we'll be able to track all those that are using things, you know, like that on their phones and all of that. So it's the AI, you know, revolution is a bit, what do you call it? Because we are not so sure of where it would lead us. People are a bit, you know, careful and, you know.
Very
but
skeptical.
I foresee, skeptical, that's the word. I foresee a very, you know, huge opportunity in there if we are able to understand, you know, ourselves. Yeah, so.
Okay.
That is it.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of information here. Okay, I'll come back to all of this later. But there's something that you said that, you know, sort of pricked my interest, and that would be liability, and how, you know, sometimes tracking liability in these instances can be tricky, you know. Let me cite the example of the movie industry. Forgive me for going to an industry different from yours, but I remember a time when one movie producer or director got very upset, you know, that her works were being abused in tertiary institutions, and took it upon herself to go into, you know, universities and get students arrested for, in her view, pirating her works, you know, and people just saying to her that, what's wrong with you? Are you not happy that they are patronizing your work? And, you know, all of the conversations around that, you know, to a point where she said she was moving her craft out of Ghana, you know, somewhere else. I think you know who I'm talking about. You know, so there's that. So, I mean, in instances like that, who is wrong and who is right?
You see,
let me compound the issue a bit more. Or the Nigerian movie producer who very recently said that she's heard that Ghanaian TV stations are playing her movies, and that she was going to come to Ghana and have them, you know, arrested. People also just saying to her that, madam, why you should be happy?
The question is, why should she be happy? Why should she be happy? I don't know how we see things. We have taken out the commercial side of creativity, and we are only thinking about the fame that comes with it. But the fame, at the end of the day, doesn't put food on the table. The
dissemination. Can we, instead of calling it fame, can we call it dissemination? But then when you call it dissemination, that's where it becomes tricky, isn't it? Because you create so that people might enjoy. You create so that it might
blow up. It should be, I mean, it should
be
catch on with everybody.
Should. I mean, if I'm, for instance, this Sunday, my not so little cousin's birthday, 19th birthday. So we all went to, you know, a restaurant, and as we were coming out of the restaurant, I had two lovely ladies, you know, stop me and tell me how much they enjoy my show, and in the moment I felt, oh wow,
very
so
happy.
you're doing something worthy, right? Isn't that the point? Isn't that the point of creativity?
But can't we have both?
We should have both.
That is what we should. we shouldn't be shy to demand both. That's what I would say. We shouldn't be. It's not like you are asking too much. That is what you deserve. You know, that popularity or that, you know, fame that comes with it. It should come with the financial aspects too. Other than that, then what are you doing? Okay.
Let me give another example. So I think it was an IS or something like that I, you know, spoke about some personal life experiences. And I mean, we absorb information from so many spaces. Some of them tend to stick with you, or sometimes you create it and it fits. I don't know, whatever. But I said some things that the IS team now captured into kind of like nuggets or something. They put it out on social media, and then I just get attacked, you know, by some random person who says to me that this is intellectual property deceit or something, you know, something.
So you actually like said it first before they put all you.
No. I mean, I'm speaking at an event, and as you are speaking, the organizers are making nuggets of what you are saying.
Okay.
I don't know if you understand, and they are putting the nuggets out. So they are putting it in sort of like arts
excerpts of the speech.
But they've. How do I
would
say?
they put your name there as the?
No, they've made it really nice. Maybe with a little picture with your picture at the side, the words there, and your name.
Okay.
It wasn't done for Jess, it was done for every other speaker that spoke. But then once they put that out, and I was tagged in it, somebody came and, you know, was
commented
all up in, you know, intellectual property law, and I was like, chill, my guy. you need to calm down. But there are lots of murky areas, aren't there? In this issue.
There are.
And sometimes I feel that when you go to, you might miss it.
So the IP laws primarily always tries to, you know, bring that balancing act. So it is not so much tilted to the side of the user. Neither is it tilted to the side of the creator. It's always tries to, you know, balance the situation. So that is why we understand that students will definitely photocopy. Lecturers will definitely use people's work to teach. So then let's come up with a system, collective right licensing. So for instance, in our case, at the end of the year, each student is paying 5 cedis. We are now trying to review to 7.5.
It's part of your fees.
As part of your fees. 5 cedis for the whole year. So that you can go ahead to use whatever work you want to use to help you to complete school. And as you said, maybe I don't need this whole book. I need only a few sheets. I don't need to buy the book before I get that sheet. I need few sheets of a lot of books. So then you pay that 5 cedis. It's a convenient approach of solving a challenge. So I think IP laws are not so harsh on users as people would want to put it. You know, if you really understand what the goal is, you realize that it's in the interest of both the user and the right holder. So we always stand in between as a collective management organization.
Right. How harsh are the punishments?
Yes. If you infringe on the laws, there are, you know, penalty, you know, this thing that you pay in the Copyright Act.
So fines.
The fines.
Pay fines.
I may not want to go into that in detail, but what happens is that I have the right to seize all, if you've plagiarized your work, I have the right to seize all the work, take you to court, and then demand a fine. After getting that fine, I have the right to also take those works up, and then whatever I want to do with it, I do with it. And then you can also go to prison, serve a term in jail. Yes. Yes, it's a criminal.
Okay, so there's the fines, there's the complete loss
of that property.
Of the property.
You can lose your photocopier devices and everything, whatever you used to do it.
Right.
They would all be confiscated.
Right.
And then
you could also go to
prison as well. So it's a very serious offense.
Okay. For what exactly? It depends. So the range will be depending on the infringement. You know how far you've gone with your copying.
The amount involved and all of that.
Right. Okay. So you have an event coming up. I want us to talk about that. You have an event coming up in August.
Yeah.
What event?
It's a nationwide.
Who are you targeting?
It's a nationwide sensitization.
Why should I be interested?
Yeah, you see, all throughout this discussion, I also get the memo that we have a lot of work to do.
Oh yes.
In terms of
Yes.
creating awareness, because the right holders themselves don't know what what is due them, and if you are not aware of what is due you, there is no way you can claim it. So what we are trying to do is to organize a sensitization, event for right holders across the length and breadth of Ghana. So we are dividing the nation into 4 zones. We have Accra, Kumasi, Tamale, and Cape Coast. So on the 9th of August, we are having our first, event workshop at the conference center. And some of the speakers that are coming, we have some very learned, people coming to speak, at this event. We have, for instance, Dr. Poku Edusei, who is an IP lawyer and lecturer, and recently was nominated to serve as the appeals court judge. And then we also have a consultant from the World Intellectual Property Right Organization coming to talk about generative AI and the violations of copyright. So we have an expert. We are not so into these tech things in this country. So always we need these people they have a much, broader view on the topic, and it will be nice to hear from them how they perceive the whole thing and what the future holds for creatives and all of that. We're also going to talk about digital licensing of visual artworks, as I, told you a few about what we are trying to do, with our catalog and all of that. So we also did a survey in 2023. It was sponsored by WIPO, and the survey was to assess, digital uses of copyright protected works in tertiary institutions in Ghana. So we realized that people are now tilting towards, digital educational materials than just photocopying. So we needed to understand how, the extent of such, thing in the campuses, so that they can guide us in our licenses and all of that. So we came out with very interesting findings that, as we said, people think everything online is free. So if I see your beautiful self in a picture online, I can just pick it and go and make a book, or I can use it for anything I want to. I mean, not giving regards to anybody who is involved in the process of creating that thing. And also, even lecturers and students don't really understand what is copyright and how you can infringe on them. So all these things will be discussed. The right holders themselves don't also understand what really copyright is. So this workshop, we are targeting right holders. Okay, so we are targeting right holders ranging from publishers, authors, fashion designers, basketry weavers, porters, sculptors, all of them. Those that form under space, photographers and all of that. So we'll give them that training, and then we'll empower them, and then we also let them know how they can take advantage of, the digital transformations. So the theme for this event is the relevance of collective licensing for text and image-based works in the digital transformation era. The relevance of collective licensing for text and image-based works in the digital transformation era. That is the theme. We want to let them know, how things are running outside, that we are yet to understand and all of that. We cannot sit down and let the industry run away from us and all of that. When we just sit down without getting involved, we are caught unawares, and who knows, we might miss out a lot.
Right. Yes. As you were just saying that, a few things come to mind, and there's no way I'm letting you go.
This conversation is always opening a lot of, it's interesting. Wherever I go, people are so interested.
I have questions for you. You just said people think that things that are online are free.
Yeah.
When you said that, I thought about it. I was like, yes, you're actually right. I actually do think that things online are free, right? Because once it's online, it's for everybody.
Yeah, we can.
It's not.
It is not. It is not free. For instance, on my website, on your website, you want to promote your company, so you put a lot of good stuff on your website. The fact that somebody can download that doesn't mean that or the fact that you put it on your website to promote your organization doesn't mean you want it everywhere else online. I don't know what I mean.
I should be minded that once I put it online, everybody can have it. These days, you don't even need to download it. You just need to screen grab.
Exactly.
And it's yours.
That is where we get it wrong. I should not be minded that I put it online for my own interest, and I should be worried that somebody would steal it without my consent, when the laws are clear that the person should not steal it.
Okay, let me give a scenario. My brother sent a video to me on Instagram where a woman was saying that the reason she doesn't post her children's pictures anymore is because a friend sent her a link to an adoption site where her child had been posted up for adoption. You know, an adoption company had gone onto her Instagram account, picked pictures of her daughter, and put it up on their adoption page as a child that was up for adoption, right? And because of that, she just took all her kids' pictures of her Instagram. But, I mean, in this instance, what are the real issues? First of all, what can you do? Say this has happened to my producer.
That is. First of all, there is a lot of violations, a lot of criminal, acts in there. One is the image rights. You are putting their image into disrepute. If it's a very, noble family that has a lot of, noble friends who are aware of them, and then we end up seeing your daughter up for adoption, it speaks volumes against you, and they can take them on for that. Also, the picture itself, whoever took the picture has the copyright of the picture. So you're also violating on copyright. And you are also passing off. You are I don't know, what do you call it, unfair competition. I don't know whether you know about that. If you are holding yourself, you are putting up something for sale, and that thing is not exactly what you are trying to put up for sale. You get my point? If you are saying you are an adoption company or organization, and then because you saw somebody's that are big child looking so nice and fresh, you want to use that to project your adoption company. Is that not a criminal act? You see, a lot of infringements are in here that maybe the lawyers would make a lot of money out of taking them on. Yeah, so it's another issue out of copyright.
Then there's this one too that I always ask. These days, we all use professional photographers, with the exception of those of us who still use our phone. Most people these days use professional. Who owns the rights to the photograph? Is it the photographer, or is the person whose image is in
photographer?
The photographer has the rights to the picture. So I come to you, you take my pictures, and you have rights to it, and I don't.
It's just like I sell a product to you, and you don't own the copyright, you only own the product.
You have to explain that.
Yeah, so the photographer is in his studios, or you reached out to him?
No, he comes to my house.
I mean, the location doesn't change anything so much.
Come to my house.
The location wouldn't change things so much anyway.
Come to my house and come and take my pictures.
Let's even come
to my wedding.
Let's come to your wedding. Anywhere you want us to come.
I have rented this venue.
I understand.
Paid for decor, ambience.
I understand.
You come and take a picture.
Yes.
Who owns the rights to that picture?
The photographer.
The photographer.
The photographer owns it. It depends on
after I paid you.
It depends on the terms you went into. And the exchange, the monies that exchange hands.
These days they don't charge small monies.
Exactly, but it depends on the terms that I am getting you to come in. Maybe I'm a very popular person. I'm having a wedding. I know the value of my pictures. I want you to come and take a picture, but I want to buy that picture, the copyright from you. I want to outright sale of copyright is there. So I tell you that take a picture of me. At the end of the day, I'm done with you. So I'll pay you off. That is different. But when they charge you for the normal picture taking, your property is only the picture that you see yourself in. But at the end of the day, if you, being the one in the picture, once you use the picture for another thing that the photographer knows that will bring in a lot of income, you need to consult him first.
But how does this sound fair? I'm sorry.
It's very fair.
This is not fair. No, this one I don't agree with. No. How does this sound fair? It is me, my person, my face, me. Let's say I've even gone for a stylist to style me from. Let's say it's my birthday,
sure,
right? So I've gone and paid a stylist, You know, and there are some very good stylists in town
Sure.
lately. The person has come and has styled me. Wear your hair this way. Let's wear this earring. Let's wear this shoe. We've done that. I've gone and paid, you know, Live Resto Lounge, you know, for venue, for ambience. I've done that. All of that is done. Now, I've come and employed your services. You are coming with your photograph, your camera.
Your camera, yeah.
Maybe some lighting, right? And then I pay you for the service.
Yeah.
And once that is done, and I want to use the image for something else, I have to come and consult you.
Sure.
For what?
You see, let me also ask a question. Why did you choose that photographer in particular, not any other particular?
Oh, his pictures are nice.
Very good. So it means there is some ingenuity that he adds to his work.
I'm paying for that. It's a service I'm paying for.
You are not paying for the copyright. You are paying for the service. It's still not understand.
No.
You see, the caveat is this. He also cannot just use your picture for anything.
But they do.
The fact
they just go and put it on their Instagram page.
You also have image rights.
They put it on their website.
Yeah. But you also have image rights. They have copyright. You have image rights. For instance, the fact that they have copyright doesn't mean they can use your pictures on maybe an adult, you know, web or platforms and all of that, because you are not subscribing to that, or even the promotion of alcohol if you are not somebody who is into alcohol. So there is image right on one side, there is copyright on the other side.
Can't I just say don't put my picture anywhere?
Yes,
for instance, if
can.
I see my picture on Instagram on his page, can't I say, my friend, take it down?
Yeah. Once you have,
now they'll tell you that they have the rights to the pictures.
That is very, you know, a very debate. You see, the law is always not fair and straightforward.
No, the law has to be fair.
It's not always
fair, it's not law.
It's not always straightforward. Let me put it that way. It's not always like, it doesn't follow common sense all the time, right? It doesn't always like, oh, this is black, why are we, you go and then there is explanation. So that's what I'm trying to say, that the photographer is seen as a creative, he's seen as a professional. He has the camera in his hand. It's not only the camera that is taking the picture. Probably he has some particular pose that he will make to make you look so nice. And that is why you went for him. And that is copyright protected.
The pose?
Yeah, the pose. Some lie on the floor.
I do my own pose.
Some lie on the floor.
I do my own pose. Have you seen the picture of Manasa climbing the tree? How about that's my own pose? I want to climb the tree.
No, they guide you. Sometimes they'll tell you, no, this one will not pass. Do it this way. The little
but
things
this one doesn't sit right with me at all.
Yeah, but that is at the end of the day, that is.
I do not understand.
You rent the space. You do styling. You do everything.
Me, and it's also just me. It's me, and I paid you for the service. Yeah. I paid you. You didn't take my pictures for free. Yeah. I paid you. Then suddenly you own the rights to the picture. For what?
Right.
No, this one I don't understand. Please, when you go for your meetings, go and revise your notes on this one.
Probably we'll see how far we can carry that. But as it stands now, there's
but let's broaden that scenario also to just say you go and pick a catering service to come and do your wedding. You're a private person. I don't want these pictures out. I've paid you, and yet next thing you know,
they are out there
all
on Instagram.
over the place.
That's why I'm saying that it's all about the contract you sign before the actual service is carried out. Right from the get-go, if we spell things out clearly, then we are all on the same page. That at the end of the day, I don't want to see my pictures on your Instagram, platform. So then you say, okay, then pay me more. Let me put a little extra cost on it. You understand? So we have a contract we have signed.
Pay me more. You see, that's what I don't understand.
Because they are monetizing this on Instagram. You know that people are trying to put these things up there to get money out of it, to advertise themselves and all of that.
So here's what. There are people who go for specific vendors because they want their pictures to be out.
Yeah.
There are some people who want
the fame and the popularity.
The razzmatazz. Yes. So but for those who don't, why should I pay more? I'm paying you for your service. I'm not paying you for publicity.
Anyway, it's not necessarily about, it's about understanding. Probably just we understand right from the
I think I should even pay less.
That you don't want.
If I don't want you to put me on your Instagram, then I pay less and take out the publicity
a bit out
fee.
Of the fee and all of that. I understand your your I wouldn't say frustrations, but I mean that's the word I can lay hands on now.
I'm definitely too personal.
Yeah. But it makes a lot of sense.
No, seriously.
It makes sense, but the fact is that they own the rights.
No, you don't.
But you can, as I am saying, right from when I want to employ you, I am the one that is buying the service. I say I don't need A, B, C, D. So we are all aware of what I need and what I don't need. I don't want my pictures on your listing. And then he consents to that. And you have a proof to show that he consented. Because that might be the reason why you chose him and not the other person who didn't consent. So at the end of the day, if you find a picture...
But is it even a conversation that should be had? Shouldn't the conversation be, can I put it on my Instagram?
As in from him?
Yes. Shouldn't that be the... Because if I'm coming to... If I actually come and take photographs of my wedding, why do you think it's okay for you to put it on your Instagram page?
It's his work.
It's... No. I've come and paid you. Please come and take photographs of my outdooring.
Yeah.
I've had a baby.
Yeah.
Come and take pictures of my outdooring. Why do you think that it's okay for you to put it on your Instagram page?
Exactly. This outdooring, for instance, these are very, the baby's image and all of that. I mean, that's what I'm saying. There are two, these things to it. We have the image rights, which if you feel that is really invading in your privacy, you can also, stand
okay,
argue
so
for
if
it.
I don't have the conversation and I find my pictures on your page, can I sue you?
It depends on to what extent he has used your image. I may not try to give legal advice here. I don't want to put myself. I don't want to put myself in a very. But what I would say is that it depends on what are the reasons why you want to sue, right? If it's about your image being, infringed upon, like your private space being invaded by that act, then I believe you have a point. That is a different thing you are coming under. But if you want to go into copyright, that you own copyright, you might not, I'm not giving a legal advice, but you might not be successful.
I think you should come back. The issues are a lot. But these are very practical, everyday, rights and obligation issues that all of us deal with. And sometimes, like you say, we just apply common sense.
Yes.
And sometimes our common sense is not the law.
It's not that common to the law.
It's not the law. I would have thought that our common sense would be the law. Would be the law. Because that makes life easier for everybody. But I'm learning that sometimes no. Because some of these issues I think are very
straightforward.
Simple and straightforward,
That's straightforward.
So maybe we'll come back and expand on the conversation. But before you leave, just to highlight on your event, in our guests, for somebody that's watching, 9th August, it's a memorable date. I'll tell you why.
Exactly.
But if you want to expand a little
I would
bit
love
on
to hear
event.
maybe after the show.
Oh, it's my dad's birthday.
Oh, I see. Very, very, very renowned person in the media space.
Okay, so let's talk about your event again. If somebody is watching, a person is interested, how should the person register? Is it free? Things like that. And then
so it's 9th August we are in Accra, 13th August we are in Tamale, and then 15th we are in Kumasi, and then 22nd August we are in Cape Coast. So this is how we're going to go about it. It's free. It's also a hybrid event. You can decide to attend online or join, in person. And you can register. You can visit our social media platforms. We are Copy Ghana on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on X, and then on YouTube. So you can visit all these social media platforms and register for free. You can also visit our website, www.copyghana.org.gh. You can also register there as well. And our numbers are available. If you need any guidance, you can reach out to us. So, we expect everybody to. I mean, it's narrowed to creators, but if you are also mindful of being, sure you don't violate or infringe on rights, you can also join. So I learn as a user how you can avoid some of these infringements. So thank you very much for having us. It's been a very...
You're welcome.
A very, very wonderful
say you're welcome. I said thank you.
It's been a wonderful conversation. Just that, I don't know, maybe I couldn't convince you on the...
No, I'm not convinced.
On the copyright
No, the photography one, I'm not convinced.
I understand.
No, I'm not convinced about the photography one. And the other scenarios I can think of, that's why I said you should come back. There are so many other scenarios I've seen play out on social media. I've seen play out on Instagram. I've seen play out on Facebook. Like somebody has contracted somebody to do a wedding dress. The person says, my money was not paid. Then the person proceeds to post, your pictures on Facebook. And I wonder, who is at fault here? There are so many other issues that, bug my mind sometimes when I come across them. And I'm always wondering about, you know, what the issues are in terms of rights and obligations, and what they are, so that as we just go about our normal everyday life, we don't go and fall into some trouble that's, you know,
maybe
inadvertently.
Getting back to the photographer bit, you cited an example. I want to use it to try and see once again. I don't want to leave here without trying to convince you. You see, if you are having a wedding, you get a fashion designer to come and take all your measurement. Probably she came to your house as well to do all of that, take the measurement and everything. And then she sews a nice dress that fits you very well. Probably it's a unique style, nobody has used it before. And you also try to help, you know, I need it this way, you cut the back and all of that. Who do you think the copyright of that work belongs to? The design?
That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Because maybe she made it full back and I said, no, cut the back.
And then
maybe cinch the waist.
Who do you think will be for? I'm just trying to juxtapose this with the photography.
The dressmaker.
The dressmaker. So why don't we accept that the photographer too would, you know, despite all the things you put in, probably in the shape in the dress, you've gone to the gym and you had a very good shape and all. This is where all your investment. But the dress fits you. I mean, it's based on that the fashion designer got the inspiration to do the dress. And your input a bit cuts the back and all of that. So you had also invested in the process. Why don't you lay claim on the copyright?
No, you see, that dress is mine.
Yes.
In this instance,
the
that
photo
dress
is also
mine.
yours. The photography is yours.
Which one? In today's digitized world, photography is not the picture you have.
But it's which one?
It's the one he has on his pen drive, in his computer, in his office.
I give up now. I give up.
The one he has printed for me.
I was making a headway.
No, you can't make headway.
Let's not go there again. Apologies.
But you understand what I'm saying?
I don't understand you.
You should understand me, because once he has those images on his computer, he can go crazy with it, you know, under this thing of it's my copyright, you know. No, it's me. The only person I share rights to me with is God, my creator, not you.
I think in the use of the pictures, they should also be very, you know, very, I don't know how to, they should be careful.
Right.
Though they own the copyright, I told you there are other rights that you can also easily infringe upon when you are trying to rely on only owning copyright to just spread the works everywhere. So it's a matter of being, you know, balancing the whole issue. It's also decent. It's also very, you know, the best way is for them to come and seek your consent. Oh, I have this gig. I think I saw this modeling company. They show your picture will do very well in their magazine. They want to feature it and all of that. This is how much they want to pay me. Do you give me a go ahead? Maybe I'll give you something. So that you agree.
You see, let's go back to this thing about the adoption and the baby girl's picture. What if eventually, when they probe and they grab this adoption house and they see that
is wrong, the
photographer gave me,
that is wrong, and they'll be in trouble. That is image right infringement. So,
but do you understand why I feel that the person whose image is the one who should have ultimate rights over the picture?
This is a very good topic that
image.
I mean, you are raising. So we might. It balances to each side at the point. So you have not entirely lost the argument. I have not also lost. So.
Oh dear. We'll come back to this one. We'll come back to this one.
You know, there is a lot of, you know, good points each of us is making. So.
We agreed to disagree.
We'll agree.
But thank you for your time. Thank you for your time, and you're always welcome, Mr. Joseph James, Executive Director, Copy Ghana. Wish you all the best with, you know, your August programs, 9th, 13th, 15th,
22nd,
and then the 22nd, you know, of August. Viewers, if you are watching, you know, and, you know, you are interested in any way, shape, form, you know, around copyright issues, because copyright issues come to our door every day. We live with it. We are infringing. We are, all of us, you know, others are infringing on our rights, all of that. Please make time. So which sites can they come to register?
They can find us Copy Ghana.
Copy Ghana.
On LinkedIn,
LinkedIn,
on Facebook, and then on YouTube and X. And then our website is www.copyghana.org.gh.
Right.
I must put out the venues for the other event. Internally, we are at Center for National Culture. Kumasi, we are at Center for National Culture. Cape Coast, we are at Center for National Culture. So if anyone wants to attend and that is in their proximity, then it's easier for them to also pass by.
Right. Yeah. But if I have some issues and I just want to run it off you, can I do that? Can I reach out?
You can reach out. As I said, our numbers are on our platforms. You know, our corporate numbers. You can always reach us. You can send us a quick, mail, or you can even send us a message on social media, and we'll respond as soon as we get them. Only not controversial questions like like I've been made to face this afternoon. So yeah. I mean,
no, we'll keep it simple. We'll keep it simple. It will be questions around the photography and all. Thank you so much for your time. Well, viewers, this has been our conversation around the creative industry and copyright. Please do well to reach out to Copy Ghana, for all issues copyright. Stay with us. We'll be right back. From the break. So recently, I've had course to take a pause, on how we engage in our virtual spaces. When I say virtual spaces, I mean social media, on Instagram, on Facebook, on, LinkedIn, on X, the kind of conversations that we have, the kind of things that engage us, on these spaces, and how very problematic some of them are becoming. There are conversations that I find that, in the past I would find them so shocking. But these days, sometimes you see them and you sort of be normalized, to some of these conversations. I'm finding myself asking a question around our common morality as a people, our common morality. The things that all of us can agree and say that, Charlie, this one is too much. How are we protecting, our spaces such that wrong is wrong, and we can all ask for justice when we come across wrong? I speak too much. Watch this video. Let's come back.
Mary Akorebi at the age of 14 years. Papa no so na Akora so na Madrid Stadium no. Papa no was scout on my hinkropa. Let me share my experience.
What?
Na Mary na our body na nobody to say Mary na from class 6 to be o wie kumaka. Hey, o kwame. Boni nyo. Na me ban do sa level no. Ana me hunu say teacher ni bia hyase no ye na afri how are you? Na I'm fine. Afa me to wa me na my wife din komo na me shadwa. Na say teacher ni we fa so ya on afri ni how are you? I'm fine na that. Me tell you I thought well kwamna na me say yes. Hello come me boy. Na me say me boy asade ba na say also only that no be 14 15. I was coming out for so nya no. Or the classes and be tie na pa na be kura grand virgin.
The video.
I felt wow, say when you say me triaka. I'm say I'm pow the love natural karma. Come e shame me sa to come. O de you know who energy.
Kwabra you go.
Video is making the rounds on social media. It's my producer TJ who first drew my attention to it. He had seen it on a page and he asked me. He knew that, I'll definitely have a strong reaction to the video. So he sort of showed it to me. I have to say that reading the comments, at least on the page that I saw this, I was encouraged. Everybody was asking for this man to be prosecuted. People were saying that crime has no expiration date, and so this man should be arrested and this man should be prosecuted. So, to that extent, I say that kudos to all of us, all of us are agreeing that this one is wrong. Now, my thing with this video is the fact that this man, boldly, with his full chest, with his face, is on air in a media house saying that he slept with a child, a class 6 child, like a child in class 6. Slept with her from class 6 till she finished secondary school. A 14-year-old girl, mentions her name, Mami Yeboah, mentions the name of her father, Mr. Asari, speaks about where Domahin Crew, and expects to do all this and go home to his wife and his children. Listen, women have given accounts years later of this, and the effect is hard on their lives. I speak about Oprah Winfrey. I speak about our own Elizabeth Ohene. Years later, when they've been able to rise above it, or rise in spite of it, and make something of themselves, they still come back to these harrowing experiences and how it shaped their lives and perhaps altered, the course of their life. We all know in our communities, we hear it, we live with it. Personally, in the university, I had a shock of my life when, in a very casual conversation with my roommates, one of my roommates cried because of an experience like this, and how suddenly I understood her life decisions and her life choices. Suddenly it made sense. I was like, okay, so this is what she's living with. This is the trauma that she's been living with. And this explains why this and that and this and that and this. We cannot continue to, as a society, turn a blind eye to some of these things. Sometimes when you're trying to find culprits, it's hard. People lie. They say, I didn't do it. This is somebody who is telling us. It's not Mami Yeboah that came to tell us the story. He is the one who is sitting in a radio station and telling all of us that I abused a child from when she was in class 6 till when she got to secondary school. We can't let this one slide. We can't give him a pat on the back like the, people in the studio were doing, laughing and acting like this is normal, like this is a normal conversation. We are having a normal conversation where a grown man is saying that I abused a child from class 6 to secondary school. There comes a time when all of us need to say that, no, this one is not acceptable. I feel for Mami Yeboah wherever she is. I can only imagine, because you see, and this is the bit about I had a relationship. No, you did not have a relationship with her. You abused a child. You groomed a child. You groomed a child from when she was in class 6. And you yourself say, classes, and then you took her virginity. Your words, nobody's words. This is not acceptable. As a society, we cannot turn to the other side and pretend like somebody didn't walk into a radio station and report himself to us. What are we doing about this? He has told us. Somebody was trying to prompt him to stop. He said, no, let me talk about my experience. It's okay, we've heard you. But what are we doing with this information? All of us. What do we say to him? What are we saying? Ghana Police, over to you. Thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.